Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the 12 motorcycles dealers are quietly discounting right now. Number 12, Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now, and it is happening for very clear reasons. With new cruiser-styled models crowding showroom floors, many dealers are sitting on fresh Eliminator inventory that needs to move before peak riding season ends. As a result, buyers in the United States are seeing real price cuts instead of loud promotions. The sticker price usually sits around $6,500, but quiet dealer markdowns of $700 to $1,000 are becoming common, especially on in-stock units. One big reason the Eliminator is being discounted is its positioning. It is lighter and simpler than many modern cruisers, weighing just under 400 pounds, which makes it easy to handle but also places it in a niche category. Some buyers cross-shop it with used motorcycles, which slows sales. Dealers respond the only way that works fast, by trimming the price and adding incentives like reduced freight or setup fees. The Eliminator also uses a proven engine that focuses on smooth power instead of flash. That keeps ownership costs low but does not always excite showroom traffic. For riders watching their budget, this is the right moment. A quietly discounted Kawasaki Eliminator delivers dependable performance, manageable weight, and solid resale value without stretching monthly payments. Deals like this do not last long once inventory thins, so timing matters more than hype. Number 11, Honda Rebel 500. The Honda Rebel 500 is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now, mainly because supply is stronger than demand in many U.S. showrooms. Dealers stocked up expecting quick turnover, but buyers have been more price cautious this year. Instead of loud sales events, many stores are quietly cutting deals to move units before the next shipment cycle. The usual asking price sits around $6,600, yet real-world deals are landing $500 to $1,000 lower, especially on bikes that have been sitting for a few months. Another reason discounts are showing up is the Rebel's familiar styling. It has been around long enough that buyers know exactly what they are getting, which reduces impulse purchases. Dealers know this bike sells best when the numbers look right, so they adjust pricing rather than letting it collect dust on the floor. With a curb weight of roughly 408 pounds, it stays easy to handle, but that alone does not push buyers to rush in at full price. Ownership costs also play a role in these quiet markdowns. Insurance remains affordable, parts are easy to source, and long-term reliability keeps resale values stable. Because of that, dealers feel comfortable trimming margins, knowing the bike still holds value for the buyer. Right now, the Honda Rebel 500 makes the most sense when purchased quietly at a lower price, not when paid at full sticker. Number 10, Indian Challenger. The Indian Challenger is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now, and the reason is simple: it is a high-dollar machine sitting in a cautious market. Many U.S. dealers ordered aggressively, expecting premium baggers to move fast. Instead, rising loan rates slowed buyers, leaving expensive inventory parked on showroom floors. With a starting price often crossing $25,000, even a small slowdown forces dealers to act. Quiet discounts of $1,500 to $3,000 are now showing up, often bundled as reduced freight or dealer fees rather than headline sales. Another factor is size and weight. The Challenger tips the scale at over 800 pounds, which narrows the buyer pool. It attracts serious touring riders but not impulse shoppers. When these bikes sit for months, dealers prefer trimming price instead of tying up floor credit. For buyers shopping in this segment, now is the moment to negotiate hard. A discounted Indian Challenger delivers full-size touring presence at a price that finally makes sense, and once dealer stock thins, these quiet deals will disappear just as fast. Number 9, Triumph Speed Twin 1200. The Triumph Speed Twin 1200 is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now, mostly because it sits in a tricky price zone. It is not cheap enough to be an impulse buy and not extreme enough to pull in hardcore performance shoppers. In the United States, the usual asking price hovers around $13,000, but quiet discounts of $800 to $1,500 are showing up on in-stock units. Dealers prefer private negotiations instead of public price cuts to protect the premium tag. Another reason for these discounts is competition inside the showroom. Retro-styled motorcycles are crowding the same buyers, and dealers need to keep inventory moving. At roughly 476 pounds, the Speed Twin 1200 feels solid but still manageable, yet that balance alone has not been enough to push fast sales at full sticker. Bikes that sit past the peak season almost always get softer pricing. Dealers are also watching floor space closely. This model takes attention and room, and clearing it helps them plan for incoming stock. Because resale values stay stable, dealers feel safe offering quiet incentives rather than letting the bike age on the floor. If a clean, well-built modern classic is on the list, this is one of those rare moments where patience pays. Because the Speed Twin 1200 is easier to buy quietly now than it will be later. Number 8. Harley-Davidson Sportster S. The Harley-Davidson Sportster S is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now, mainly because the initial launch demand has cooled. When it arrived, pricing close to $15,000 limited how fast it moved, especially as buyers became more cautious with financing. Across the United States, many dealers still have unsold units sitting on the floor, and rather than advertise price cuts, they are offering quiet negotiations to close deals. Discounts between $1,000 and $2,000 are becoming common, often hidden through lower dealer fees or added incentives. Another reason for the softer pricing is buyer comparison. Shoppers at this price level often look at larger cruisers or touring models, which puts pressure on the Sportster S to justify its cost. Its bold styling attracts attention, but that alone does not guarantee a sale at full sticker. Weighing roughly 500 pounds, it sits heavier than many riders expect, which further narrows the buyer pool and slows turnover. Inventory management also matters. Harley-Davidson dealers operate on tight floor plans, and models that sit too long become expensive to carry. Moving the Sportster S now helps dealers free space and cash for faster selling units later in the year. For buyers who like the look and brand, this is a rare chance to negotiate from a position of strength, because the quiet discounts available today will not last once inventory finally clears. Number 7. BMW K1600B. The BMW K1600B is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now because it is a high-priced luxury bagger in a slower buying cycle. In the United States, this model often carries a sticker close to $28,000, which immediately limits the buyer pool. With financing costs up, many dealers are sitting on inventory longer than planned. Instead of public price drops, quiet discounts of $2,000 to $4,000 are appearing during one-on-one negotiations, especially on bikes that have been on the floor for months. Size and weight also play a role. The K1600B weighs around 740 pounds, which makes it a serious commitment for buyers. That narrows demand and pushes dealers to be flexible rather than let such an expensive unit tie up floor credit. It also takes up a lot of showroom space, and clearing one bike can make a big difference for incoming inventory. Another reason for these quiet deals is buyer hesitation at the premium end. Shoppers expect perfection at this price, and even small doubts slow decisions. Dealers know this and would rather adjust pricing quietly than watch the bike age in inventory. If luxury touring is the goal, the BMW K1600B is priced to negotiate right now. And waiting too long could mean missing these low-key but meaningful discounts. Number 6. Yamaha Bolt. The Yamaha Bolt is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now because it has been overshadowed by newer cruiser releases. In many U.S. showrooms, this bike has stayed on the floor longer than expected, pushing dealers to trim prices without making noise about it. The typical asking price sits around $8,000, but quiet discounts of $700 to $1,200 are becoming common, especially on units that have been in stock through multiple months. Another reason for the soft pricing is buyer attention. The Bolt does not chase flashy updates, which keeps it dependable but also slows showroom traffic. Dealers know the Bolt appeals to practical buyers, not impulse shoppers, so price adjustments become the fastest way to move inventory. At roughly 542 pounds, it feels substantial, yet that weight can discourage newer riders at full sticker pricing. Floor space pressure also matters. Dealers want quicker turning models front and center, and older inventory quietly gets incentives attached. Rather than carry the Bolt into the next sales cycle, many stores are choosing to negotiate now. For riders looking for a straightforward cruiser at a fair number, the Yamaha Bolt is one of those bikes that makes more sense today than it did at launch pricing. Number 5. Kawasaki Vulcan S. The Kawasaki Vulcan S is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now because it faces stiff competition from newer, trendier cruisers. In the United States, the Vulcan S usually lists around $7,400, but quiet dealer discounts of $500 to $1,000 are becoming common on units that have been in stock for a few months. Dealers are avoiding big public sales, instead working deals directly with buyers to move inventory without hurting perceived value. Another reason for the soft pricing is the Vulcan S's niche appeal. At roughly 515 pounds, it is light and approachable, yet it doesn't generate the same showroom excitement as more aggressively styled bikes. That makes turnover slower, and dealers prefer to adjust pricing quietly rather than let units linger and tie up floor space. Additionally, practicality plays a role in these discounts. Insurance remains reasonable, maintenance costs are predictable, and fuel efficiency is solid, which keeps interest steady but not urgent. Dealers know that reducing the price slightly can convert cautious buyers into immediate sales. For anyone looking for a versatile cruiser that is easy to handle and comes with manageable costs, the Kawasaki Vulcan S is a smart pick right now while these quiet discounts are still available. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Nightster. The Harley-Davidson Nightster is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now, mainly because it sits at the entry end of the premium cruiser market, but still carries a higher sticker than many new riders expect. In the United States, the Nightster typically lists around $12,500, yet dealers are quietly offering reductions of $800 to $2,000 on certain 2026 units. These deals often appear in private negotiations rather than public ads, keeping the premium image intact. Weight plays a role in these soft prices. At approximately 520 pounds, the Nightster is light for a Harley but heavier than some beginner-friendly options. That narrows the immediate buyer pool and slows turnover on showroom floors. Dealers know sitting stock hurts cash flow, so quietly trimming the price is the fastest way to move these bikes. Another reason is competition within the brand itself. With multiple models targeting similar buyers, the Nightster sometimes struggles to stand out, prompting dealers to add discreet discounts to incentivize a purchase. Floor space pressure also factors in, as clearing Nightster inventory makes room for incoming 2026 models. For riders looking for a classic Harley experience at a more reasonable number, the Nightster is one of the few bikes currently available with quiet, negotiable discounts that won't last long. Number 3. Honda Shadow Phantom. The Honda Shadow Phantom is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now because 2026 stock has not moved as quickly as many had expected. Across U.S. showrooms, the Shadow Phantom normally carries a sticker around $10,500, which places it in the mid-range cruiser segment where buyers are cautious with their spending. Quiet discounts of $700 to $1,500 are now appearing, often through dealer incentives, reduced fees, or private negotiations rather than advertised promotions. This approach allows dealers to move inventory without affecting the bike's perceived value. Weight plays a big role in why these discounts exist. The Shadow Phantom tips the scale at roughly 535 pounds, which is manageable for experienced riders but still heavier than many entry-level cruisers. That limits the pool of buyers willing to commit at full price. Competition is another factor. The mid-sized cruiser segment is crowded with similar bikes offering comparable performance and style, so buyers are more selective. Dealers understand this and adjust pricing discreetly to attract serious buyers without harming the premium image of the model. For anyone in the market for a sleek, reliable cruiser, the Honda Shadow Phantom presents one of the better quietly discounted opportunities of 2026. By acting now, buyers can secure a well-built bike at a number lower than sticker, while dealers clear inventory before the next sales cycle ramps up. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Street 750. The Harley-Davidson Street 750 is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now because 2026 inventory has been slower to move than expected. In U.S. showrooms, this model typically carries a sticker around $8,500, but quiet reductions of $700 to $1,500 are becoming common. These deals often appear as negotiated incentives, lower setup fees, or dealer-added bonuses rather than publicized sales, allowing dealers to maintain the Street 750's premium image while clearing floor space. Part of the reason for these discounts is its weight and size. At roughly 500 pounds, the Street 750 is accessible to many riders, but it sits in a mid-level range where buyers carefully compare alternatives. Competition also plays a role. Midweight cruisers have grown in number and style options, which slows the pace of sales at full sticker. For riders looking for a manageable, stylish Harley at a lower number, the Street 750 is one of the best opportunities in 2026 to negotiate quietly and walk away with a solid deal before inventory tightens. Number 1. Suzuki Boulevard M109R. The Suzuki Boulevard M109R is a motorcycle dealers are quietly discounting right now because 2026 stock has not moved as quickly as anticipated. In U.S. showrooms, the bike usually carries a sticker near $13,000, but quiet discounts ranging from $1,000 to $2,000 are becoming common. Dealers often apply these reductions through negotiated incentives or lowered fees rather than public advertising, allowing them to move inventory without impacting the bike's strong reputation. Weight and size contribute to the slower turnover. At roughly 650 pounds, the Boulevard M109R is a substantial cruiser, which narrows the buyer pool to those comfortable handling a heavier bike. Dealers with lingering units prefer to offer quiet deals rather than let expensive inventory sit for months and take up valuable floor space. Another reason for these discounts is competition. The large cruiser segment is crowded, and buyers can easily compare similar bikes, which slows decisions at full sticker. For anyone looking for a big, powerful cruiser at a lower number, the Suzuki Boulevard M109R offers one of the better quietly discounted opportunities of 2026. Giving buyers a chance to negotiate before inventory tightens again. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.